So last time we talked about adding like terms. Today we're doing distributive property. Again, you should have had your notes already filled in if you are looking at these. What am I talking about for your notes? I am looking at that you have like terms, constant, variable terms, and the word coefficient should have been there already. Again, talking about what terms are like terms. The coefficient is the number part. Yesterday I like our definition where we said it was the number times the variable, and the constant is simply the variable, no numbers, or no, all numbers, no variable. Now, a sum is what we add together, are the terms of our expression. The distributive property is used to help us combine like terms. Like terms have identical variable parts. In a term, the number multiplied by the variable is the coefficient. So in distributive property, what it says is we are going to take and distribute a times b and then a times c. We write it this way, a times b plus a times c. If there's a subtraction, again, we are going to distribute, just like your teacher may distribute tests or quizzes to all the rows in the class, a times b minus a times c. When you look at this problem, the like terms, all of these are terms because they're separated by addition and subtraction. And here, when we really talk about our like terms, we have a positive 3xy and a negative 2xy. They both have x and y to the first power, so they are like terms. The distributive property. You're going to see this coming up. The distributive property, if you would put in your notes, a times parenthesis b plus c is equal to a times b. We won't write the times, but it's understood, a times b plus a times c. And it says a, b, and c are all real numbers. So far we've talked and worked a lot this year with integers. We are also here going to be working with our real numbers. For some reason, in the middle of that, my board disconnected, so I was trying to fix that. So I just paused it for a minute. It says A, right here this arrow says when two things are next to each other, it means multiplication. So we are distributing A with the B and A with the C, multiplying those together. So in your notes, in your packet, simplifying an algebraic expression. Can you simplify inside the group? We want to do that first. That's our order of operations. Complete any multiplication and division, even if the result is still an expression. Distributive property allows us to multiply the terms to simplify, get rid of parentheses. Combine and add like terms, and you can only add what's considered our like ones, which we did yesterday. And a simplified algebraic expression has no parentheses and all the like terms have been combined. So in your notes, you are also going to do questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are a little more practice with our adding like terms, and I'll probably have you add those also. As you write this down, 3 times the parenthesis, x plus 8. Now a lot of times as we start the problem, we might put 3, and I'm going to use a dot. A lot of times you'll see me use a parenthesis, times x, plus the other thing I'll do is I'll put these arrows. Why? This shows me I have to take 3 times the x, and I can't just put an 8, but 3 times 8. 3 times x gives us 3x, plus 3 times 8 is 24. Do I have any like terms? No, this one has an x. This is our constant. 3x plus 24 eliminated the parenthesis. It is simplified. 2y minus 3 times negative 4. Does it matter if what's being multiplied is behind it? No. You can put it in front if you would prefer, or you can simply think, I have to distribute the negative 4. I'm going to take it times 2y. Now this is where it gets tricky, and my suggestion is change subtraction to adding that opposite. And if we think of it as plus, we still have our negative 4. And this time times a negative 3. Now as we multiply, 4 times 2. Someone said, how can you do that? You multiply the two number coefficients, gives us negative 8, and we keep the y. Negative 4 times negative 3 is plus 12. Like terms are already combined. We don't have any other like terms. Our answer is negative 8y plus 12. What about if you have 3 terms in this parenthesis? Well, there's a couple of options. One of the first things, remember we talked about order of operations. Order of operations says do addition, do everything inside your parenthesis first. So if we don't want to use distributive properties, 3x, 7 plus 8 gives us 15. 15 minus 4 gives us 11. Negative 11x times 11 gives us a negative 33. We multiply the 3 and 11, x, and we are done with that problem. And we've actually added our like terms before we multiplied. Could you have multiplied this out? Yes, I think that would be much more painful for most of you. Could you have done that? Negative 3 times 3x times 7. Then you would have to take negative 3x times 8. Then you'd have to take negative 3x times, again, watch for this tricky one, negative 4. To me, this is a lot more multiplying and adding, and this is a much simpler problem. Will you get the same answer? You will. If you would look at this one, we have negative 21x, negative 24x, and plus 12x. Let's take a look at number 4 as the last one, and I would have you please pause this and try and write this out. Now in this problem, I'm actually going to do the work right below the problem instead of going behind it. So it is telling me to take negative 2. Again, I'm going to rewrite subtraction as adding the opposite. So I'm going to have negative 2 times x plus negative 2 times negative 5. Here I have distributed, and I have negative 2x plus 10. We need to continue distributing with our last parenthesis. As we do that in the last parenthesis, I'm going to have 5 times x plus the 5 times 2. It gives us 5x plus 10. What are our like terms? Now, the last time we worked with like terms, we talked about highlighting. So we could highlight negative 2x and 5x are our like terms as the 10 and 10. The constants are our like terms. I want to regroup it to add negative 2x plus the 5x. 10 plus 10. Some of you are probably going, I know 10 plus 10 is 20. Awesome, do it. Negative 2x plus 5x. We're adding the coefficient. If you didn't want to show the regroup, we could have the x, negative 2 plus 5. Signs are opposite. Gonna battle. Larger number is positive 5 at larger absolute value. So we are going to have 3x plus 20 for a solution. Now, these next couple of questions that you see are mostly doing adding like terms like we did in today's lesson. If you need more practice, put them down. If not, you are done and ready for tomorrow's class.